Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Ireland once again, this time to the Republic, and we're going to visit one of the better known Irish craft breweries. So for this one we are going to Galway Bay Brewery, obviously from Galway, and this one is the Bay Ale, an Irish red ale which comes in at 4.4%, and I'm glad I've been able to get a hold of some more Irish beers. It really is very annoying to try and get a hold of some of the beers from the North and the Republic of Ireland, because you just can't get them for love nor money. It's hopefully this is the start of Irish beer starting to become more readily available. So those of you watching over there, I hope you enjoy the reviews that I am able to do for you, and do please get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would recommend that I take a look at. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Galway Bay Brewery. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. There is a playlist there of Irish beers, and do make sure you check out the playlist of beers from different countries. And as always, do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Your support and your input into the channel is always hugely appreciated. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Galway Bay Brewery then. So this company was founded by Neil Walsh and Jason O'Connell, both of whom had long backgrounds in hospitality. But they'd originally planned to open up a chain of gourmet pizza delivery places, but this really just didn't work out for them. So they instead relocated to the Oslo pub in Salt Hill, Galway, and they started serving gourmet burgers and stocking foreign craft beer, and this was where the business really started to take off for them. So they actually had a big hall at the back of the premises, and so in 2009 they decided to start brewing their own beer on a small scale just for the pub. But they only had 2 pubs and a restaurant initially, and they started the brewery when the financial crisis hit in Ireland. Of course, Ireland was really kind of ravaged by the financial crisis actually, but they soon found that when this crisis took hold, many landlords were starting to offer more favourable terms for rent. This was a big problem in Ireland before, because it really wasn't economical to run a pub just because these rents were so high. So during the financial crisis there was something like 2,000 or 3,000 pubs actually shut in Ireland, but after the financial crisis it really started to take off again. But they actually started off their own pub chain, and they started selling their own beers exclusively on tap within these bars, and they found a brewery premises in the Ballyrit Industrial Estate, and they hired Chris Traynor as their head brewer, and ever since then they've actually been expanding their brewery capacity and also expanding their pub network as well. It said on the article I read that they were looking to expand into Northern Ireland as well, but on the website they did have about maybe 9 or 10 different pubs listed. They do have 5 or 6 different beers as well, so just to list those for you before we get on to the tasting, they've got a Foam and Fury, Full Sail, the Bay Ale, which is this guy here obviously, the Althea, and the Buried at Sea, and some of them are really quite highly rated. I simply picked this one because it was the Irish red ale, and it's a style that I really enjoy, but I later learned this isn't actually one of their better rated beers, but we'll see how we get on. As I say, I enjoy the style, and it's always cool to try beers from different places. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. We'll get on to the tasting then. Tells you a little bit about the brewery on the back here. It says Galway Bay Brewery. We love beer, crafting it, drinking it, discussing it. We brew for maximum flavour, so be good to your taste buds and try a few. You won't go back. So yeah, the specs on this beer when I looked it up earlier, this one is a 4.4% Irish ale, Irish red ale, sorry, and it's hopped with Northern Brewer, Williamette and Bobeck hops with a malt base of brown, crystal and Munich malts. So it should be really nice, this one. Let's get it open and we'll get on with the tasting then. Just like to have a little look at the artwork before we do that though. So there you can see this kind of red star thing is the symbol of the Galway Bay Brewery, and there you can see it's got this nice kind of almost psychedelic artwork just backing up there. You can see We Craft Beer on the back, and this of course is the Galway Bay bottle cap. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get this open and we'll get on with the tasting. Definitely looking forward to this guy. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one, and we'll get it out and into the glass. You can smell some of the nice kind of caramel malts. Of course, with an Irish red ale, you do expect some sort of biscuity kind of caramelly malt coming out of them, but this one really is very, very nice actually. Definitely looking forward to trying this one. So as you can see, this beer's poured a really nice kind of dark, I'd say it's fair to say this is a mahogany colour actually. It's actually got quite a bit of red to it, but I think, not sure how well you guys will be seeing that on the camera there, but it looks very, very nice. There's a solid finger of a frothy kind of slightly beigey cream head on this one. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. I'll just bring the light down and let you see the colour of this beer properly. There you can see on the camera the kind of nice red edge that this one has. It's actually quite a bit brighter than it's coming across in the camera just now. Let me just put it over here and see. But yeah, it is actually quite a nice bright red Irish ale, this one. I'm not sure, as I say, I don't think you're seeing the colour of this one properly on the camera, but it looks very, very nice. So let's have a closer look at the aroma of this beer then and see how we get on. Oh yeah, when you sugar this beer up, you start to get a bit of an earthy hop from it. That's these noble hops, you know, the Bobek, even though it's a Czech hop or a Slovak hop, you know, it does come across quite similar to a sort of German noble hop. You can get a little bit of that out, but I'm getting a good bit of the Brewer's Gold, which if I'm not mistaken is an English hop, and you can really smell that typical kind of English earthiness coming out of the beer. There's a little bit of lighter kind of grassy and floral note coming out of this one. Some of the floral notes, of course, will be from the Williamette. That's an American hop, and it's known to give you a little bit of like elderflower and things as well. You can maybe smell a little bit of that, but you know, mainly the hoppy notes. As I say, it's earthy. You can pick up a little bit of the sort of Bobek, almost noble notes, but for me, it really is the kind of English hop, the Brewer's Gold. If I'm not mistaken, it is English, of course, but you can really smell that sort of English hop character coming out of this beer. So yeah, you've got a little bit of malty character coming out as well, you know, some sort of caramel, slightly toasted, of course, a little bit of a biscuity malt there, and maybe there's just a little bit of a kind of candied red fruit ester. You know, it reminds me a little bit of these little heart-shaped sweets you get in Haribo Star Mix. But overall, it's not too punchy on the aroma. The aroma is kind of sort of well blended more than being really punchy. As I say, when you sugar it up, you start to get more of the hoppy notes, but when you let it settle, it does become kind of distinctively more malty. So yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you get stuck in. But we're going to try this beer now. So this one is the Bay Ale from Galway Bay Brewing, a 4.4% Irish ale from Galway over in the Republic of Ireland. Slàinte. That's actually pretty nice. You know, we'll say straight up, this beer isn't one of the craft beers that really is going to blow your head off in terms of hops or malts or anything. This beer is actually a bit more like the kind of old school craft beers, if you like, the sort of real ales and stuff that you might find. This one's definitely a more kind of classic take rather than a modern take on the Irish red ale style, but it's nicely done. Yeah, you know, this is really nice. I mean, I always find this interesting because if you think about the Scotch ales that we have in Scotland, they do lean towards the more kind of malty and bready side of things, whereas if you go to the ones in America, they're a lot more caramelly and sugary. And I guess I can see the same with the Irish red ales. You know, the Irish ones are definitely a bit more bready and kind of malty in that regard, but then when you go to the American ones, they do become distinctively more kind of sweet and fruity. So it's just an interesting comparison to make, actually, because this is a kind of distinctively Irish beer style, really. And you can kind of get the same sort of feel from it, but as I say, this one isn't one that's going to kind of blow your mouth away with the flavour, but it's nicely blended and it's quite a drinkable beer, this one. So if you like a sort of classic Irish red ale, I'm trying to remember the name of the big brewery that do these ones actually, but if you like a sort of more classic Irish red ale, then this beer is going to be right up your street. This is really nice. So yeah, the middle of your palate with this one, you've got a kind of distinctively bready malt base to this one. You can feel the Munich malts just underpinning it, you know, that typical kind of bready character there. But when you go on top of that, you start to get more of the sort of grainy, almost brown bready character coming out of the beer as well. There's a sort of toasted, grainy character in the middle of your palate too. There's a little bit of a, right in the middle of your palate, there's a little bit of a biscuity sweetness and some kind of heavier caramel that's a little bit toasted. So you can feel that in there, but I do like the way the malt base goes to this one. This beer, for me, it really is more for people who enjoy the kind of more malt forward beers. Like if you enjoy an ESB, like an English special bitter or extra special bitter, then you're probably going to enjoy this one as well. This one is maybe a bit more for sort of real ale drinkers, or the kind of classic real ale drinkers, than it is for the full kind of craft beer ones. But as I say, you do have this kind of this comparison, where this is probably what a classic Irish red ale is going to be, rather than the more kind of Americanized version of it. But I like it. It certainly hits the spot for me. You know, in terms of the hoppy side of things, in the back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of an earthiness there. As I said, I think that will probably be from the northern brewer, and you can feel that just kind of spreading forward or moving forward on the side of your palate there. But then when you get more towards the front corners of your palate, there's a nice little bit of a floral bitterness there, and as you go round the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get the kind of lighter and grassier notes from this beer, and you can feel the sort of earthy character and the sort of toasty graininess that's coming out of the malt base. They mix together really quite well in this one. I do like how this beer comes across, actually. It's really nicely done. In terms of the fruity aspects of the beer, if you just go behind that front curve of the palate there, you'll just feel that little oily bubble where the fruitiness starts to come out the beer. And for me, you know, there's not too much in the way of fruit on this one. It really is. There's a little tiny bit of an almost slightly reddish candied fruit ester to this beer. It always reminds, as I say, as it was the same with the Aroma. You know, you pick up this little bit of the sort of Haribo Star Mix hearts. It really reminds me of those kind of red candied fruit esters that you get in those sweets. But I do like how this beer goes together. You know, you have to give it plus points for how the flavours blend together. And like I say, if you're in terms of recommending this beer, if you like English special bitters, or I guess if you're more familiar with the style, like a more classic example of an Irish red ale, then this one probably is going to hit the button for you. You know, this one, it really, if you like bready flavours, if you like the kind of toasty graininess, and you like a bit of noble hop, then again it's going to hit the spot for you. But for me, it's really nicely done. But just be aware with this beer, it is a kind of more classic example of the style rather than the Americanized version. And when it's an Irish brewery, you know, that's kind of what you would expect. But this is really nice. So yeah, if you get the chance to try this one, definitely give it a go and see what you think. Always cool to try these beer styles from a brewery in their native country, of course. That's another good thing about it. This beer in some ways, it reminds me of the Old Jock Scotch Ale from Brotnails here in Scotland, and this maybe is one of the kind of Irish equivalents of that, but obviously an Irish red ale. But in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say this guy is mid-bodied. Carbonation is quite smooth, but at the same time it does have a little bit of wetness to the mouthfeel. The carbonation it does help bring out a little bit of the toasty grainy character and some of the hops. It's got a little bit of an oily feel to it, but at the same time it is a little bit wet. Maybe leans more towards the oily side though. There's a good bit of sweetness from the malt base, but at the same time there is a little bit of a kind of toasted character to it. There is a little bit of roastiness to it, so it has a wee bit of bitterness. The hops for me are very smooth. There's not too much in the way of bitterness, just a little bit of earthiness in the back corner of the palate, and there's a little bit of fruity juiciness there too. But again, that is a really subtle note. But for me, this is quite an easy drinking beer, and like I said, it's really cool to see a sort of an Irish version of an Irish red ale, as strange as that is to say, because the American versions of these beer styles are obviously quite different. But yeah, if you enjoy bready flavours, if you enjoy kind of toasted graininess and the sort of classic, almost English real ale style beers, then this one will hit the spot for you. So yeah, if you get the chance to try it, I do recommend that you have a look at it, because it's a really quite nice and quite drinkable beer. Just be aware, it's not going to blow your head in terms of hoppiness or maltiness or anything like that. It's just a nice kind of easy drinking, well flavoured beer. So yeah, as I say, very much cool, very cool to actually try one of these beers from Ireland. Thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery in the comment section below. Let me know what other beers you'd like me to review from Galway Bay Brewery. Of course, some of their other ones are very highly rated. The IPA, from what I read, is a very good beer, so I'll see if I can pick up that one when I'm next through in Glasgow. But yeah, thank you for watching my beer reviews, and I'll catch you very soon. This one is the Bay Ale from Galway Bay Brewery over in the Republic of Ireland. It's landed just now, and I'll catch you very soon, and hopefully we can do some more Irish beers very soon. Cheers.